what do you think makes a good speaker good and a bad speaker suck?
I like that question.
I wouldn't call anyone a bad speaker to start with. This is never a label I would assign. I would say there are speakers who prepare and have clarity of thoughts, and they will excel. They will be the ones who have an impact.
For me, it's always related to thinking the audience care. The audience doesn't ever care about the speaker. The audience only thinks what's in it for them. So it's always the bad speaker thinking that the audience cares about them.
I think it's just about understanding the audience and engaging them. I actually don't think it's about formality as such. I think it's about, have you written a topic that is interesting to them? And are you presenting it in a way that's interesting? I guess it comes down to research, isn't it? Making sure that
it is about knowing who your audience are, and it's about them. It's not about you.
A good speaker, obviously flipping the tables there, a good speaker is well aware of where the speech and the audience needs to end up.
So if we're talking about public speaking, rather than having a conversation, I think in order to make the voice sound interesting, I think pace is probably the one thing I would say, because if you speak slowly enough, it enables you to put in some additional pitch. It enables you to have some pauses. It enables you to really play with the sound so that it's an interesting listen.
What makes a good speaker good and a bad speaker suck, in your opinion?
When it's a good speaker is when they can find that flow and it all blends in. But those kind of little stories that we weave in, and those moments, the good speakers, when you can take someone on that journey. We've had this during your Speak Like a Speaker Club sessions, is when you want to get your point across and then you stop. And I know that what makes a really good speaker. And what makes a speaker suck?
What makes one suck? I think where you talk either too fast or in lots of cliches.
I guess it comes back to that subject matter. When you are reliant, you've covered it before, when you are reliant on that comfort blanket that's in front of us, whether it is a PowerPoint slide, whether it is the amount of words that we have on the screen. And that really grinds my gears. And I suppose for many of us is when we look at the person who's talking at the front, but their eyes are directed away at the screen.
If you give a keynote speech, you want to leave your audience with 3, 4, 5, maybe good ideas, something that they can remember and take action on. If you just show statistics and numbers, no one's going to remember that. If you illustrate it with a story to show the power of doing something differently, that's a story they can tell other people and say, that's why we need the money for this. This is why we need to change.
And then there are speakers who have an idea of what they want to say, but they might not have prepared, or they might not have known how to prepare for an impactful speaking event. And therefore, they might lose the audience. They might not engage. They might not leave an impact.
But in public speaking, it's not first and foremost about packing in a lot of information. It's about impact. He said, in public speaking, the main thing you have to be concerned about is having a positive impact. All the information has to be subordinate to that. So don't overwhelm people with too much information. Make the best impact.
Good speakers always have the end in mind. Bad speakers always have themselves in mind.